The Avengers Council, the place where Earth's mightiest heroes decide the fate of the world. But this time, their very foundation is shaken. Iron Man, who always fought to protect humanity, is now consumed by a new ambition to become the Council's chief. And that ambition led him down a path where his hand reached out to Thanos, the deadliest enemy of all. When a hero chooses to stand beside a villain, it's not just betrayal. It's the beginning of global destruction. Today's story reveals the turning point where Iron Man's single mistake put the Avengers Council in crisis and pushed the entire world to the edge of ruin. Iron Man's ambition. The Avengers Council was meant to be the ultimate symbol of unity. Earth's mightiest heroes gathered under one roof, making decisions that could change the course of humanity. To the world, it was a beacon of hope. But inside those closed doors, there was something else: tension, rivalry, and a silent battle for power. Iron Man, the genius billionaire who had saved the world countless times, now found himself restless. He had always believed he was destined to lead. After all, who else had sacrificed as much as he had? Who else had the vision, the brains, and the courage to keep Earth safe? In his mind, no one was more qualified to become the chief of the Avengers Council. But there was a problem. Not everyone agreed. Captain America stood firmly against it. To Steve Rogers, leadership was not about technology or ego or even intelligence. It was about trust, sacrifice, and heart. Thor, son of Odin, believed that leadership came with honor and humility, not ambition. Even Black Panther had raised questions about Stark's unpredictable nature. Every meeting became the same. Stark would put forward his ideas with confidence, but they were met with doubt, hesitation, or outright rejection. And each time, his pride took another blow. Behind the calm smirk and witty comments, Tony Stark was a man burning with frustration. They think I'm not good enough? After everything I've done? After all I've given up? He thought, pacing through his lab late at night. The holograms around him flickered with data of battles, past missions, and threats still lurking in the universe. His heart was heavy, but his ego was heavier. It wasn't just about leading, it was about proving himself. Proving that Tony Stark was more than just a man in a suit. That's when the whispers began. Somewhere in the far reaches of space, an old threat had awakened. The name was still feared across galaxies. Thanos. The mad titan, defeated once, but never truly gone. His shadow loomed large, and rumors suggested he was rebuilding his power, waiting for the perfect chance to strike again. The Council wanted to prepare for war, but Stark wanted something more. He didn't just want to prepare, he wanted to control the outcome. And deep inside, a dark idea began to form. What if the only way to secure his place as leader was to make a deal with the devil himself? At first, he shook the thought away. Partnering with Thanos was unthinkable, unforgivable, but the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. If he could control Thanos, if he could bend that power to his will, then no one could ever question his authority again. The Council would have no choice but to accept him as chief. It was madness, but madness had always walked hand in hand with genius. One night, while the Council debated endlessly about protocols and defenses, Tony disappeared. His AI systems traced the impossible, coordinates hidden in galactic data streams. And then, alone, Iron Man set out into the void of space. Not to fight Thanos, but to find him. The journey was long and silent, filled only with the echo of his own doubts. What am I doing? Am I saving the world or destroying it? He looked out into the stars, remembering faces of those who trusted him. Pepper, Peter Parker, even Steve. A part of him felt guilt gnawing at his heart, but another part whispered, "This is the only way." Finally, he found him. The Mad Titan sat upon a broken throne, scars of past battles etched deep into his skin. His armor lay shattered, his gauntlet gone, yet his eyes still glowed with the fire of destiny. When Tony Stark walked into the chamber, the silence was suffocating. Two figures, once enemies, now face to face in an impossible moment. Thanos laughed, a low, rumbling sound that shook the chamber. "Stark, Of all the mortals in all the galaxies, you are the last I expected to come crawling to me. Tony's jaw tightened, his mask of confidence slipping for just a second. I didn't come to crawl. I came to offer you something, and in return, I want your power. The Titan leaned forward, curious. Power? You already have more than most men could dream of. What is it you truly desire? Tony's eyes darkened. The Avengers Council. I want to lead it. And with your strength by my side, no one will ever deny me again. For a moment, there was silence. And then, Thanos smiled. It wasn't the smile of friendship. It was the smile of a predator watching prey walk willingly into his cage. You are bold, Stark. Perhaps foolish, but bold. And I admire ambition. Very well. You'll have my hand. Together, we shall reshape this fragile world. As they shook hands, the galaxy seemed to tremble. The man who once built an iron suit to protect Earth had now forged an alliance that could destroy it. And far away, on Earth, the Avengers Council sat in their chamber, unaware that one of their own had already betrayed them. The seeds of crisis had been planted, and the world was about to pay the price. Shadows over the council. The Avengers Council chamber was filled with voices, echoing like thunder across marble walls. Heroes from every corner of the Earth and beyond argued over strategies, defenses, and the rumors of Thanos' return. Captain America slammed his hand on the table. We cannot afford hesitation. If Thanos rises again, we need to be united. Thor leaned forward, his golden hair catching the light. United we must be. But where is Stark? In times like these, the man is absent, and his silence speaks louder than words. Whispers spread through the room. Stark's empty seat, gleaming at the table's edge, became a symbol of doubt. Black Widow narrowed her eyes. He's been different, distant, like he's hiding something. Only one person tried to defend him, Rhodes. Tony's carried this team on his back before. If he's missing, he's planning something big. You all know how he is. But beneath the surface, suspicion was growing like a crack in glass. Meanwhile, far from Earth, Iron Man stood in the shadows of Thanos' throne world. The pact had been made, but the weight of it crushed him every second. Thanos spoke like a teacher instructing a student, each word dripping with manipulation. You seek leadership, Stark. Yet leadership is not given, it is taken. Together, we will show them. Tony clenched his fists inside his armor. He told himself he was doing this for the greater good, that the council would one day thank him. But deep down, a darker thought whispered, what if I've already crossed a line I can't return from? Thanos, of course, saw through him. Your doubt is your weakness, but your ambition, that is your true strength. Feed it. Let it grow. Back on Earth, the council prepared for battle, unaware that their greatest threat was sitting among them, disguised not in the form of Thanos, but in the betrayal of their own brother. The first sign came when the council's defense systems glitched. The shield satellites that circled Earth, designed to warn against galactic threats, suddenly went dark. Wakandan engineers scrambled, but the codes were untraceable. This isn't just sabotage, Shuri said, her fingers flying over glowing holograms. This is Stark tech. Someone used his systems to shut us out. The room froze. All eyes turned toward the empty chair once more. Where is he? Steve's voice was low, heavy with dread. No one had an answer. At that very moment, Tony was standing at the edge of an alien balcony, watching as Thanos' armies began to stir. Warships, long hidden, lifted from the shadows of dead planets. Chitauri creatures snarled in cages, preparing for release. The Titan had kept his forces in waiting, and now, with Stark at his side, he had the key to Earth's defenses. Tony spoke through gritted teeth. This isn't what I signed up for. You said control, not chaos. Thanos chuckled. Chaos is control, Stark. You wanted to lead the Avengers Council? Let them watch as you do the one thing they never could, command me. It was a trap, of course, but the ego in Tony's heart blinded him from the truth. Back on Earth, tension in the council reached a breaking point. Thor smashed his hammer against the ground. Enough waiting. If Stark has betrayed us, then we hunt him down before his folly brings ruin upon Midgard. But Steve shook his head. We don't know the full story yet. But if Tony really has crossed that line, we may be fighting one of our own. The council fell silent at those words. Fighting Thanos was one thing. Fighting Iron Man was another. Far away, Tony stared into the void of space. His helmet reflected his own tired eyes. He whispered, almost to himself, maybe this is the only way. Maybe betrayal is the price of leadership. Thanos, listening, smiled darkly. And so begins the fall of the Avengers Council. The storm had been set in motion. Earth's defense is crippled, suspicion tearing the council apart. And at the center of it all, one man's ambition twisted into betrayal. But the heroes had not given up. Not yet. For where there is unity, there is resistance. And soon, the council would learn the truth and face the most impossible choice of their lives. The betrayal revealed. The council chamber had never felt so heavy. Every hero sat in silence, the air thick with suspicion. They all knew something was wrong, something far bigger than a malfunctioning defense system. Finally, Natasha broke the silence. I've traced the shutdown code. It doesn't just look like Stark's system. It is Stark's system. A wave of shock spread across the room. Steve Rogers leaned forward, his voice low. Are you saying Tony sabotaged us? Shuri's holograms flickered. Not just sabotaged. He rerouted our defenses directly into space, as if he handed control to someone else. The room froze. There was only one possibility. Thor's eyes narrowed, lightning sparking at his fingertips. Thanos. The name alone made the walls feel colder. Meanwhile, far away, Tony stood face to face with the Titan himself. He could feel the weight of his choices pressing down on him, but his pride wouldn't let him stop. This is temporary, Tony muttered, convincing himself. Once I'm chief, I'll use your power to keep the world safe. The council will finally see I was right. Thanos only smiled. You believe you control me, Stark. But in truth, you've already surrendered. The words cut deeper than Tony expected. For the first time, he wondered if he had gone too far. Back on Earth, the council's doubts hardened into grim reality. Captain Marvel stormed into the chamber, her voice sharp. I've scanned the outer rim. Thanos' ships are moving. He's building an army again, and someone gave him the key to Earth's skies. Steve clenched his fists. It's Tony. Rhodes shook his head in denial. No, that doesn't make sense. He's reckless, sure, but Tony would never side with Thanos. But Natasha's voice cut through like steel. Wouldn't he? He's been desperate. Ambition changes people. And right now, he looks more like a threat than an ally. For the first time, Rhodes had no reply. The council knew they had to act, but the question was, how? Fighting Thanos was already impossible. Fighting Thanos with Iron Man at his side? That was something no one had prepared for. Thor slammed Mjolnir against the floor. If Stark has turned traitor, then I shall strike him down myself. Steve raised a hand. No, he's still one of us. We bring him back alive. We remind him who he is. If we don't, then we've already lost. The council divided in silence, torn between justice and loyalty. On the other side of the galaxy, Tony felt the council's shadow looming over him. His AI, Friday, whispered warnings in his helmet. Multiple council ships inbound. They're tracking you, sir. Tony's heart sank. They knew. Thanos rose from his throne, towering over him. So the council comes. Let them. They will find not a brother, but a traitor. And when they fall, Stark, you will rise. Tony's stomach twisted. He had wanted respect, leadership, recognition. But now, all he could see in the reflection of his armor was betrayal. Still, he didn't stop. The Avengers' ships broke through the void of space, each carrying warriors ready for the impossible. Steve stood at the front, staring into the stars with determination burning in his eyes. If Tony really made this choice, he said quietly, then we're not just fighting to save the world. We're fighting to save him. And with those words, the council prepared for war, not just against Thanos, but against one of their own. Clash of Brothers. The darkness of space was split by light, council ships cutting through the void like arrows. Inside, Earth's mightiest heroes prepared themselves for the most painful mission of their lives. Captain America stood tall, his shield gleaming. Remember, Our fight is not with Tony. Not yet. If we can bring him back, we do it. But if he stand with Thanos, we stop them both. The chamber fell silent. No one wanted to imagine what that meant. Moments later, alarms blared. On the horizon loomed the broken throne world of Thanos. Warships hovered like vultures, their cannons glowing. And at the center, standing on the balcony of a ruined citadel, was Iron Man, side by side with the Mad Titan. The sight froze the council. Thor's voice thundered. By the gods, he truly stands with him. The comm channel crackled alive. Tony's voice filled their ships, calm but cold. Stand down. You're fighting the wrong battle. With Thanos at my side, we can finally secure peace. No more debates, no more weakness. One voice, one leader. Me. Steve's chest tightened. Tony, this isn't you. This isn't leadership, it's surrender. Tony's reply was sharp. Don't lecture me, Rogers. While you were giving speeches, I was building solutions. You'll see. This is the only way. And then, without warning, blasts of energy streaked across space. The battle had begun. The council ships weaved through a storm of fire. Carol Danvers blazed forward, tearing through enemy fleets like a comet. Thor unleashed lightning that split warships apart. Wakandan jets, led by Shuri and Okoye, struck with precision. But for every ship destroyed, two more rose. Thanos had been preparing for this moment, and now his army swarmed like locusts. Through the chaos, Iron Man streaked forward, his red and gold armor glowing against the stars. He wasn't just attacking enemies, he was targeting the council itself. He clashed first with Captain Marvel, energy bursting across the battlefield. "Tony, wake up," she shouted, blasting beams from her hands. "I'm wide awake," Stark fired back, his repulsors colliding with her strike in a blinding explosion. The shockwave rattled ships across the sector. Meanwhile, on the ground of the Citadel, Captain America and Thor landed together, shields and hammer raised. Thanos stepped forward, towering like a god reborn. "Fools," the Titan growled. "Your council is broken. Your brother has already chosen his side." Steve tightened his grip on his shield. "Then we'll bring him back. And you, we'll finish what we started." The clash was brutal. Thor swung Mjolnir with thunderous rage, forcing Thanos back step by step. Steve fought with precision, his shield ricocheting against alien steel. But the Titan was relentless, each strike shaking the ground beneath their feet. Up above, Natasha infiltrated the Citadel with stealth, moving through shadows. Her mission wasn't to fight. It was to find Tony and cut through his armor of pride. She whispered into the comm, "I have shot at Stark. Keep Thanos busy." Through smoke and broken metal, she found him, helmet off, standing in the glow of alien fire. For the first time, she saw not Iron Man, but a man drowning in doubt. "Tony," she said quietly, stepping forward, "look at yourself. This isn't victory. This is chains. He's using you." Tony's jaw trembled, but his pride held. "You don't understand that. They never trusted me, never gave me the chance. With this, they'll have to." She shook her head. "No, Tony. With this, we lose you. And if we lose you, we lose everything." His eyes flickered with conflict. For just a moment, the mask slipped, but Thanos' roar shattered the moment. "Enough. Stark is mine." The Titan hurled Thor aside and slammed Steve into the ground. His gauntlet hand rose, ready to crush them both. And Iron Man stood frozen, between the family he had fought for and the power he thought he needed. The battlefield paused. Every hero, every soldier, every ship waited for one man's choice. Would Iron Man remain Thanos' ally, or remember who he truly was? The final choice. The battlefield had gone silent. Blazing ships hovered above, heroes and soldiers locked in a deadly standstill. Thanos' fist hovered over Captain America. Thor lay battered on the ground, and Natasha's voice still echoed in the chamber. All eyes turned to one man, Tony Stark. His heart raced inside the armor. Sweat trickled down his forehead as Natasha's words replayed in his mind. "With this, we lose you." Thanos growled, his voice shaking the walls. "Choose Stark. Stand with me and rule. or fall with them and burn. Tony's mind spun in chaos. This was everything he thought he wanted: power, control, respect. For once, no one could deny him. But as he looked at Steve bleeding, Thor struggling to rise, Natasha standing unarmed yet unshaken, he remembered something. He remembered why he became Iron Man in the first place. Not to rule, not to dominate, but to protect. His voice broke the silence. You're right, Thanos. Leadership is taken, but not through fear, through sacrifice. And then, in one swift motion, Tony turned, not toward his friends, but against the Titan. His repulsors ignited, blasting into Thanos' chest with a surge of power that lit the battlefield. The council roared back to life. Thor rose, lightning cracking across the sky. Steve rolled to his feet, shield in hand. Captain Marvel tore through warships above, while Wakandan fighters unleashed a rain of fire. For the first time, the tide shifted. Thanos snarled in fury, striking Tony with earth-shattering force. The Iron Man armor cracked, sparks bursting from its core. Tony fell to one knee, his systems failing. You betray me, Stark, the Titan thundered. After I gave you my hand? Tony spat blood, a grim smile on his face. You didn't give me anything. I was never yours. With the last of his strength, he activated a hidden override, his secret weapon. The satellite systems Thanos thought were his. Stark had left the back door. His last gamble. In an instant, Earth's defense grid roared back online, cannons locking onto the Titan's fleet. A storm of light rained from the heavens, ripping through warships one by one. The mad Titan looked to the skies, shock flashing in his eyes. For the first time, he realized Stark had outplayed him. But victory had its cost. Tony's armor was failing, the arc reactor burning out. Steve and Natasha rushed to his side as he collapsed, coughing. Steve knelt beside him. Tony, stay with us. Tony's lips curled into a faint smirk. Yes, I finally got to be chief, huh? Not the way I planned, but maybe the way it was meant to be. Natasha's eyes welled. Don't you dare say goodbye. Tony looked past them, into the stars, whispering words that only they could hear. Just make sure it was worth it. His arc reactor flickered once, twice, and then fell dark. The battlefield was silent again, but this time not in fear, in mourning. The Avengers Council stood united at last, not by ambition, but by sacrifice. Thanos had been defeated, his army scattered. But the price was written in fire across the stars: the fall of Iron Man. Captain America rose slowly, his shield heavy in his hand. He saved us all. That's the leader he always was. And for the first time, the council understood. Leadership was never about power. It was about the courage to give everything.